let's start off the show with some NBA Finals talk, man. Last night was Game One of the NBA Finals between the OKC Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers won that 111-110 with yet another Tyrese Halliburton game winner. This is his fourth in a row. He's done one in every series. He put the Bucks
I
away
think they
with
said
this,
this is
and
fifth. This is their
it's
fifth.
his fifth. It's his fifth
Yep.
one. Okay, so he must have done
They
it a
said the
couple
Pacers
times.
fifth. 5 times this
Okay,
is a record.
okay. I know he sent the Bucks home with it. I think it was in Game Five, the game that Giannis wanted to kill everybody in the state of Indiana. He did this in Game Two against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and how can we forget what he did against the New York Knicks in the last round? I had a tweet that kind of went mini viral. I tweeted that clip of Charlie Murphy challenge him and make sure your people there to see the game. And you can see right here, man, Tyrese Halliburton. The funny thing about Tyrese Halliburton, he didn't have the quote unquote best game. Only had 14 points, but it was a double, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. It was kind of a real balanced game in general for the Pacers. You know, Pascal Siakam was the leading scorer with 19. Miles Turner put in 15 points. And then Obi Toppin had a bit. I feel like Obi Toppin was the one who really kind of got this rolling for the Pacers with 17 points off the bench. TJ McConnell had a big game as well, man. But the big thing here is they are up 1-0 in the NBA Finals. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. This thing about Shea. Shea had 38 points, and he was 14-30. It was efficient, but it also didn't feel like it was a good game for him as well, man. He said it's a funny comment, right? Pacers sacrifice Ursay, Caitlin Clark, and Richardson and pull pork shoulder for this. But yeah, man. So let's just talk about the Pacers from what happened last night. First of all, before we start the I gotta say this. Terrible presentation by the NBA. Enough of the fucking no NBA final stuff on the court. Like I need something. Even if I feel like in the past, even though they didn't have the trophy in the middle of the court, they had the digital NBA Finals logo. We didn't have that last night. Like it felt like presentation wise, like it was a regular ass game on a Tuesday night on NBA TV. They didn't even they didn't show the national anthem. They didn't show nothing.
No jersey patches, nothing. That was horrible.
No jersey patch. Like the patch is on the back of the jersey. We can't see that shit. So terrible presentation for the NBA. Just wanted to get that out the way. But another Pacers comeback. Pacers were down 15 points as much in the fourth quarter. And then they, just woke up and found a way. And it was one of those things where I felt like if they kept it close, they had a chance. But I didn't like it wasn't like that. I feel like every comeback they've had, I just don't think they're gonna win. And then by this time I should obviously be used to it because like you just said, Bang, this is like their fifth game winner. So I should be used to the type of stuff that they're doing. But I just didn't see it happening. I think there was a point into the fourth quarter when they cut it down to 6. Then Shea hit a 3 and then it's back up to 9. I was like, okay, well that's all she wrote right there. And no, they just kept coming back to the point where I don't feel anybody in that arena knew what the fuck happened. Like it just felt like it was overall stunned from the players to the fans to the coaches, everybody except for the Pacers. And I also love what the Pacers said when they came back, saying like, "Oh look, this is 1 of 4," which is something that both teams did. Shea said that as well. You can say he's very irritated when he said that. But this is a massive game massive win for them coming out. Man, you said this is on Monday that if there was any game that they could win, it would be Game 1. And now you put a lot of pressure on the Indiana on the OKC Thunder. So, Ben, what did you think about Game 1 last night?
Like I said, if it was any game that the Pacers could take, is Game 1. I know in the clip that's out there on social media, I'm basically like they're gonna get ran through, and quite honestly that's what was happening. Like if you look at from the game when the game started to before things went left, they was running through these boys. But I also believe that OKC took their foot off the gas. And by doing that, the Pacers is the team you don't want to do that with. The Pacers is the team that you don't want to give any hope. And last night is a perfect example of that. So when you look at when you look at it, I don't want to say it's par for the course when it comes to OKC, because they haven't really had to deal with this like this throughout the playoffs. But they know now. They know now that you can't play around with these boys. And if you're up by 15, with 4 minutes left, if you're up by 15, you got to continue to put the pressure on them boys. You can't let up. If you do, they're going to come back and you put the ball in Tyrese Halliburton's hand. Anything's possible.
Dante, what was your thoughts from last night?
More the same of what we've seen from the Pacers. Really, just if they can stay close, they always have a shot. And more importantly, you can't turn the ball over 20 times in the first half. That's why they were down the way they were down, because they turned the ball over so much in the first half. And I know some of that is a testament to OKC's defense. Their defense is amazing, but at the same time, you think, like I said, 20 turnovers in a half. That's a lot. And so, even with that said, like I said, they kept it close. And in that second half, they really battled back. You saw them adjust. They started to attack SGA on the pick and rolls, crashing the pick and rolls further up in the court, as opposed to letting him just keep driving, even though he damn near had 40, didn't he? He had 38 or 40.
38.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was going crazy. Yeah, he needed 40. Yeah, he was going crazy. But at the same time, they started to make some adjustments to make him work a little harder for those shots. But I mean, if you're the Pacers, this is exactly what you wanted. You wanted to at least split in OKC, because you know how well you've been playing in your building. So if you can get back home and keep that going, bro, I think it's this is a perfect scenario. This is exactly what you wanted. You wanted to just steal one, and it just happened to be game one, so that works in your favor.
I always like NBA finals, not just NBA finals, but championship series or games where I don't give a fuck who wins. It's way more relaxing to watch that instead of having a hate watch. All my hate watches were successful this year. Started off with the Lakers. Lakers got out of here very, very quickly. And my Knicks hate watch was successful. Took a minute, took 2 rounds, but finally got them out of here. I literally do not give a shit who wins this, so that's why I hope this is a very, very long series. So game one made me excited about it because even though there's a good chance that OKC come out in game 2 and just completely mop the floor with these motherfuckers, which is a high probability. We'll get into when we change any of our series takes later, but this is putting pressure on OKC. Game 2 is a game, is a must win. You can't go in there and just say, "Oh, we just gonna do what we do," because ask the other 2 motherfuckers who they played in the last 2 rounds how that worked out. Ask the Knicks how that worked out. We'll just do our game. Ask the Cavaliers how that worked out. Like these motherfuckers, it's starting to get to the point right now where I think the Pacers thrive off it. Like you get into fourth quarter, if you're in striking distance, and what I mean by striking distance is under 20 points, we got a shot. And that should be something that's in their head. And, this is where, to me, where the experience thing comes in. Neither one of these teams have been there. So, OKC, yes, they statistically are one of the best teams of all time, one of the most dominant NBA teams of all time. And statistically, this will be probably the biggest upset in NBA history just off the numbers. But they can't go in here thinking, oh, we just got this. So I'm really interested to see how it's going to go. But before we get to OKC and everything they need to do is stick with the Pacers, man. Tyrese Halliburton. That's a superstar conversation. And this is why I'm going to ask this one, and I'm interested in Bane's answering this, because to me, superstar is more than just off the court. I judge superstar off how many people who are either casual watchers of the league or don't watch the league at all know who the fuck you are. My granny don't watch nothing. Like she don't watch no sports, but she knows who LeBron James is. She knows who Steph Curry is. You know what I'm saying? Like that's our superstar. I think at the most there's 5 superstars in the NBA. At the absolute most, and I might be generous. It's probably only 4. But I think Tyrese Halliburton has a shot to be a superstar. And this is why I say that, because if you go out here and if you win the NBA championship, the first championship in the history of the Indiana Pacers, you beat such an overwhelming favorite in the Oklahoma City Thunder, and just all the moments you had knocking down top teams. And I really think the way that you see him on the WWE and how big of a WWE fan is and how he's been there, and we all know SummerSlam is going to be at MetLife in August. Yeah, bang, I bet you didn't know I knew that. This is going to be This is gonna be
You knew
something
it.
where I feel this is something I feel like could propel him. Because imagine they win the championship. You know he's pulling up the SummerSlam
They
with
already did it. They already like technically they already did it when Trey Young got the Knicks up out of there. As soon as they got the Madison Square Garden, they had Trey Young in the garden, and he got hella booed. So that's already there. And then plus they had it wasn't a program, but it was just a TV shot. It was a TV shot that had Tyrese Halliburton and Brunson like head up with each other. So nah, like it's Triple H have already made the call. No matter what happens in the finals, Triple H has already made the call. And Tyrese Halliburton will be at SummerSlam.
But like, don't you think if he wins the championship, it kind of like makes it a little bit more special? I feel, and I feel like it'll
Yeah,
put
yeah,
him in
yeah.
more of a public eye. Like,
Well,
I'm not
yeah.
saying that he will be a superstar, but I think that this series and this playoff run could put him on Superstar Boulevard.
So I always view the superstar conversation as a casual conversation. Like for people who know ball and watch ball, they're gonna talk shit. They're gonna talk about the bench players just as much as they talk about Tyrese Halliburton. We was talking about on Some Dude because we did an episode bow of Some Dude, and me and Mike was arguing about how I believe that 2028 is the end of the hold on basketball by America as we know it. And we're talking about not just Tyrese Halliburton and Jason Tatum and all of these people. We're talking about bench players who are going to be on Team Canada. The superstar conversation is about casuals. And do the casual fan know it? Yeah, you got to be able to be clutch and all of that. But when it comes down to it, do the casual fan know this person? Are the casual fans of NBA going to pay a ticket when this person comes into town? I believe that Tyrese Halliburton is halfway there. He has everything outside of it. The WWE is not going to bring him in if they just feel like he's just a regular ass nigga. They're only going to bring people that they feel like they're superstars and their fans know him. And Tyrese Halliburton get hella views through the WWE. He has a signature shoe with Puma. He has commercials. People now know him due to his exploits of this NBA playoffs. And for him to be called the most overrated player in the NBA, like he's getting ticked just off of that. So he's almost there. The reason why I say almost is because do the casual fan know Tyrese Halliburton? They probably do now because this shit has happened too many times in the playoffs against too many teams. So he's just about there. Again, casual conversation, not just a basketball conversation, but he is just about there. And he does not have to win a title. In my opinion, he does not have to win the title in order for him to be classified as a superstar. He has to have a good series. He has to have an epic series. He has to have a Charles Barkley versus Michael Jordan type series. He has to have a series where you know that they fighting and the fans are gonna be like, all right, we fuck with dude like that. So he's damn near there, especially after what happened last night. Honestly, if you add what happened last night, he's won.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a very good point. Dante, how would what's in your opinion, what's a superstar, and do you think that either Tyrese Halliburton is already there or that he will be there by the end of this playoff run?
He's not a superstar. I think Tyrese Halliburton is a star having a superstar experience right now. Like he's on a great playoff run. But at the end of the day, when we talk about everything that a superstar encompasses, that's not Tyrese Halliburton. And there's no disrespect to Tyrese. I think he's a great basketball player. But I think it's just, like you said, it's more so just a Cinderella story. And he's the guy who was disrespected right before the playoffs start by, being told he's the most overrated guy in the league. He's one of the better point guards in the league. Top tier. I would say top 10 point guard in the league. That's and again, this is all no disrespect to him, but right now he's playing above that. So I think it's more so he's a star having a superstar run. And it's great for the Pacers, it's great for the league and everything Adam Silver's been wanting to do with showcasing more than just the big three markets. But I think when we talk about a superstar, no. Superstars are, box office. People come to see them. Superstars are the people they put the signs up like, hey, I traveled 8,000 miles to come see you. And I think it's just that and everything that it also involves business that we don't have to get into right now, but we all know. Like, superstars are box office and they sell things off of the court. And with Tyrese, I don't think he has that same appeal as everybody else, even though he's going on this run right now. It's just going to go down as a great, historic NBA run, which it should.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I said almost, because we're not gonna figure out how we're not going to know the impact of what happened this year until the season happens. It definitely hits the trajectory of it. And no matter what, when he ends up at SummerSlam on either night two, night one, night two, or both, he's going to be in front. He already has a t-shirt on WWE shop.com right now of the choke. Like, they don't do that. Triple H, TKO, WWE don't do that. So we'll see officially once next season starts how he's viewed when people are buying tickets for that. But I believe that, and again, this is not just a Hooper conversation, this is a business conversation. I think that as long as he does what he needs to do here, win or lose, he's going to be a superstar because he's going to be box office based off of being in front of the camera in front of millions because you're in the NBA Finals hitting game winning shots.
I'm trying to think. So if we would agree, who would y'all say the superstar on the NBA? I think it would probably be LeBron, obviously, Steph, obviously. I would say KD and Giannis, probably.
I agree with Dante. It ain't nothing but a handful of superstars. It's not.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not one of those. This dude can hoop his ass off. He's a superstar guy. I am not that. I've never been
Me
that.
either. Yeah.
And that's why Bron, Steph, KD, Giannis. That's it. That's really it. That's really it when it comes to superstar status. Because again, to me, the casuals determine the superstars. Like, for example, boxing. Like, I hate when people say boxing is dead because there's a time, like, there used to be a time, even in that boxing is dead situation, where I'd be watching boxing every day. And it'd be great boxers. Like, if you look at people like who's boxing this weekend, even though he didn't make his weight, like Keyshawn Davis can box his ass off. Is he a superstar boxer? Are you paying tickets? No. Andre Ward is another one. Andre Ward ended his career undefeated. He ended his career like fighting legends. But if you were to look into the crowd will barely be a sellout, if that, when you see Andre Ward. Is Andre Ward a great boxer? Yes, he is. Is he a superstar boxer? No. And that's because at that point in time, you got to sell tickets, not just in your hometown. You got to sell tickets in those areas that you go to. And we're not going to see that until next season. But he's on the trajectory.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, man. Let's talk about the Pacers in general with their Team of Destiny vibes. Shout out to the homie Shakia Taylor. She's been covering this series for The Athletic. And I was talking to her and she was telling me, like, yeah, she just felt like it was going to happen. And a lot of people, I've heard Richard Jefferson say, a lot of people who were at the game, media-wise, were saying they felt like, oh, this is going to happen. And so, like, it started to feel like they got a little Team of Destiny vibe to them. Now, that, I don't know 100% if that will happen, but it's just weird shit that happens with those usual Team of Destiny type teams. And if you look at who their head coach is, this really shouldn't be something that should be surprising. He's done this before. In my opinion, 2011 NBA Finals, I don't know if I call it the biggest upset in the last 25 years of NBA basketball. I still think that's probably Cleveland beating the 73-9 Warriors, but to me, it's number two. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, what about the Lakers over the Pistons?" Let's be real. I think we're having revisionist history. That 04 Pistons team was really, really good. And that 04 Lakers team is lucky they even made it to the NBA Finals with all the shit that was going on with them. Like, Kobe beefing with Karl Malone, Karl Malone getting injured. You had old Gary Payton on there, Shaq and Kobe having contract situations. The Kobe, the Colorado situation was just loaded. Was just what just happened. So it was a lot of stuff going on. But I feel like that wasn't as big of an upset as the Mavericks knocking out the Heatles. That to me was the biggest one. And who's the head coach of that team? Rick Carlisle. This team is starting to look dangerously similar. And I actually think this team on paper is kind of similar too, because I don't want to say it was Dirk or bust on that team. I don't want to disrespect the talent they had on that team, but it's definitely one of the, in my opinion, one of the least talented teams that's won the NBA championship. And they went through such a gauntlet. Went through the Kobe Lakers that was trying to three-peat. Went through the Young Thunder. Went through the dominant San Antonio Spurs, and then knock off the Heat. It might get those, but I'm not 100% there yet. If they win game 2, I'm there. Or if they go home and they go up 3-1, I'm there. But I'm slowly starting to think that they got some mojo on their side. Bang, what do you think about the Team of Destiny vibe with the Pacers?
I'm not gonna give them Team of Destiny. Like, I'm not gonna give them that much because they do still match up decent on this team. I think everything that got them here might have been destiny, but I wouldn't put the Team of Destiny vibes on a top 4 seed in the NBA Finals. As Dante said, I'll give them historic run vibes. I think Team of Destiny is 8th seed, 7th seed, maybe even 6th seed, like the Houston Rockets. Like that, those are Team of Destiny vibes. When you're a top 4 seed, man, you one of probably the top 4 favorites to get to your finals. And that's what they've done. So I wouldn't necessarily give Team of Destiny. I give we made it out the gauntlet. Let's go.
Dante, well, how would you clarify this thing? Or qualify this thing?
I understand what you mean by Team of Destiny. It all depends on what people, determine as what defines a Team of Destiny. So for me, I would say that they are. It sounds so corny, G. Like when you say, like you said, on a magical run. Like it's one of them shits where it's like, I don't Team of Destiny.
Magical run sounds hilarious.
It's just as corny, but it's the same shit. But that's really how I feel. I think because like I'm with Bang. I think a lot of times when we talk about Team of Destiny, we talk about teams that had to overcome a lot, and they end up in a situation that we didn't expect them to be in. But I mean, in a lot of cases, you can say this was the Indiana Pacers. So I guess they do have the Team of Destiny vibes, especially when you continuously hit, game winners and come back and the way they have, the just never say die attitude that we've seen from them. On second thought, I guess you can. I do feel the vibes. I mean, if they keep winning like the way they've been winning, and I'm with you. If they win game 2, I think then they have a great shot of just winning it all anyway. So it's one of those things where it's not the team where it has your typical makeup, where you got the cool superstar and all the other people that everybody loves and shit like that. A lot of people like to clown Miles Turner for, building Legos and shit like that. But I mean, they've played some great basketball. And I think one thing we can all say is it's kind of like what we said. If you're one of these people that was just stuck on names, then yeah, you're not gonna like it. But that was some good basketball, and that was a really good game.
Yeah, let's say Team Disney ass team. That's hilarious. But let's get to the OKC Thunder, what they need to do, man. And we talk about adjustments. This is, to me, the biggest adjustment here for me is Shea got to play some go to hell ball, and there was too many niggas who were taking shots who probably should have stopped taking shots last night. Like, I'm gonna need way more from Chet. 6 points in NBA Finals, 2 of 9 shooting from the field, ain't gonna cut it, brother. Jalen Williams, 6 of 19 from the field, ain't gonna cut it. And I don't think you can keep relying on Lou Dort to be hitting threes. I thought Lou Dort had a phenomenal game defensively. That boy was all over. But he had this one block. I think it was on Nembhard. Bro, it was Ben Wallace type vibes for me. But really, the thing for OKC is crazy. Like, they don't need to panic, but at the same time, they need to be focused. Like, they don't need to be panicked, but they don't need to underestimate the Pacers at the same time, because they had this game won. Usually when you're up 9 points under 5 minutes in quote unquote clutch time, and the other team has 24 turnovers, you usually win. That's also the other point. You got to score points off those turnovers. The stat might be wrong, but I think I saw they only got 6 points off those turnovers, which is asinine. So you need to take advantage of that. And there was one shot to me where I felt like, oh yeah, they lost this game. When they cut it, I think the Pacers cut it down to 3, and it was right before Siakam went out of bounds, and Shea passed it to Jalen instead of taking the shot. Shea got to take that shot. You live or die with your MVP. I don't want to see Jalen Williams taking that shot. I know I'm very old school with that. If I'm shit on LeBron for passing the ball, in all this time, I'm gonna shit on anybody else. When you're the MVP in that type of situation, you gotta shoot the ball. But I really don't think it's that much OKC needs to do. Just tighten it up, clean some shit up, and make sure you actually take advantage of turnovers, and just the others have to play better. The others, not the others are bench players, but like the supporting cast. Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren have to play much better basketball if they are going to win this series. If they're going to play like this shit might go 7. Bang, well, what adjustments you think OKC needs to make?
Put their foot on their necks. Go for the kill. Don't bullshit. Like how we were shitting on the Knicks about, that's just being arrogant and like, yo, just do what you do. Like, I think that OKC is not arrogant. Just do what you do. You just got through talking about how Lou Dort was out here making miraculous blocks and shit, and how Shea had a 38, but it wasn't a good game 38. You know what I'm saying? And they were up 15 with 4 minutes left. If you don't bullshit, if you put your foot on your necks, if you go for the kill, you win these games. So I just think they just got to make sure when you up by 15 that you just continue to put the pressure. Play like you did game 7 against Denver. They played that game like, yo, Denver might come back at any time. Play that game, play game 2 and the rest of the series like you played game 7 against Denver, and we ain't got nothing to talk about.
Definitely agree with that. Dante, what adjustments do you think they need to make?
I mean, you don't really have to adjust. It's close. I don't think they were bullshitting. I think most of they just got outplayed. They were still getting to their spots, getting shots, and like I said, they still had the lead up until the Halliburton shot. So it's just more so of closing strong, and that's something that they didn't do in game 1. You forced 19 turnovers in the first half. I said 20 earlier, but you forced 19 in the first half, 6 in the second half. So continue to turn their defense up. I know fatigue plays a part after a while, but I think at the end of the day, they know what they can do, and we've seen them flip that switch. And like you said, it's like an avalanche in that fourth quarter sometimes when you're playing OKC. So I think you just have to close. That's really all you can do. Because I mean, other than that, there's no reason that you should have lost that game. He hit the shot, so he had a really good shot, but you did everything to win that game. You lost because of a game winner. So I think it's just more so making sure you go out there and close.
And to me, the thing that I look at also with them is game 2 is going to tell me everything I need to know, because win or lose, we're going to learn something. That to me, if OKC come out, do what they did to Minnesota after they lost, I think game 3 it was in the West Conference Finals, and they just beat the shit out of them by like 40, then okay, balance has been restored. But even if they win by like a very small margin, 7 games might be low enough. So I asked this question to y'all, and then we're gonna move on to our next topic. Are we changing any of our finals predictions, or well, Bang, you said a sweep, so by default you got to change yours.
I said a sweep or a gentleman sweep. So I said 4 or 5 games.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
And I'm staying with it. Like, nah. As Dante even said, like they were up the entire game. They were up until they lost. So you make the adjustments. You make sure that you stay aggressive. You good. Also, Denver. Excuse me. Also, OKC is not a team that lose back-to-back games like that. So I expect them to come out in this game 2 strong. So when you go to Indiana, I'm not changing my pick, because I also believe that if you do the same thing as you have been doing, then you're going to get them there. So no, I'm not changing it. I still got a gentleman sweep rolling.
Now, Dante, you weren't here on Monday. What was your original? This is afterwards. So what was your original prediction, and are you changing it?
I had kicked around a few options. One of them was OKC in 5, and I gotta go Pacers in 7. I think this is a series where, like I said, they had 20 turnovers in that first half. So
Okay.
in the same way we telling OKC to adjust, if the Pacers can calm that down, and get a little more. But I mean, they played, like I said, hell of a game to come back. Yeah, role players did what they needed to do. So I'm gonna go Pacers in 7, bro. I'm with you. I just the feel of this team and just the way that they've played. I think this is a series where I know OKC should, like we said, should not blow them out, but we've seen the Pacers withstand every punch that's been thrown at them all playoffs. And with a coach like Rick Carlisle, in my opinion, is like probably the most underrated coach, of our time in terms of the great coaches. He's definitely on that list with Spo and everybody else. But I think this is a situation where no, as long as as they continue to gain confidence, bro. I think the series is going 7, but I think no matter what happens, I think the Pacers are going in.
I had OKC in 5. I'm not changing my opinion on who's winning the series. I still think OKC gets it done, but I think it's going to be a 6-game series now. When I said OKC in 5, I was thinking OKC wins the first 2. The Pacers, protect home court in a must-win game 3, and then what happens in game 4 and 5. But I think it's going to go 6 games. And I say that because I didn't expect the Pacers to win game 1. I think that OKC will win game 2. I even think OKC will win game 3. I can see the Pacers winning game 4, and then I'll probably pick the Thunder to win the next 2. But I think we officially have a series, and as somebody who doesn't give a shit who wins, I'm very excited about this, man. So catch I'm Not Gonna Hold You, hosted by Scott Lewis, every Monday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, only on HMB Media and the Barbershop Network.